The rain drizzled against the cafe window as Ethan Cole, the city's youngest billionaire CEO, glanced at his watch for the third time. His assistant had arranged a blind date, a pointless idea, he thought, but he agreed just to silence his mother's constant worry that he'd die married to his work. The table across from him stayed empty. 5 minutes turned into 15, then 30. The soft chatter of couples around him only made the emptiness louder. He sighed, ready to leave, when suddenly the cafe door burst open. A young woman stumbled in, soaked, shivering, and clutching a worn backpack. Her clothes were plain, her shoes scuffed, but her eyes, they were bright, alive, almost apologetic. She rushed toward him, glancing around. "Oh, sorry. I thought this table was empty," she said quickly, cheeks flushing red. Ethan was about to dismiss her, but something in her trembling hands stopped him. She looked hungry. Exhausted. "It's fine," he murmured. "You can sit." The girl hesitated, then nodded, placing her backpack down gently as if it carried her entire life. Neither spoke for a moment. The aroma of coffee filled the silence. Ethan noticed her gaze linger on the dessert menu, then on the prices. She quietly folded her hands instead. And for the first time in years, the cold CEO didn't feel annoyed. He felt curious. He didn't know it yet, but this mistake was about to change everything. "Would you like something to eat?" Ethan asked, his tone casual but his eyes observant. The girl hesitated, glancing at him as if unsure whether he was serious. "No, thank you. I just needed a place to sit for a bit. I'll leave once I'm dry." Her voice was soft, almost apologetic. Ethan frowned. "You look like you haven't eaten in days." A faint smile tugged at her lips. "That's not far from the truth. I'm Mia." He wasn't used to people being so direct, so unpolished. "Ethan," he replied shortly. "Nice to meet you, Ethan," she said, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face. "Sorry for intruding. I just came from a job interview. It didn't go well." He caught the tremor in her voice. Something about her honesty disarmed him. No pretending. No agenda. Just raw truth. Without another word, he waved to the waiter. "One hot chocolate and a sandwich," he ordered. Mia's eyes widened. "You don't have to." "I know," he interrupted softly. "But I want to." The food arrived, and she ate slowly, savoring every bite. Ethan watched quietly, his heart tightening. He couldn't remember the last time he'd noticed another person's hunger. When she finished, she whispered, "Thank you. You have no idea how much this means." He shrugged, pretending it was nothing, but something inside him shifted. As she gathered her things to leave, her umbrella caught his eye, its frame broken, plastic barely hanging on. "Wait," he said, standing. He handed her his own sleek, black umbrella. "Keep it." She blinked, speechless. For the first time in years, Ethan Cole smiled, not out of politeness, but from something real. And Mia smiled back, unaware she had just warmed a heart long turned to stone. A week passed, yet Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the girl with the broken umbrella. Her voice, her honesty, it had lingered, haunting him in quiet moments between board meetings and billion-dollar deals. He'd told himself it was ridiculous. She was just a stranger. But deep down, something inside him had shifted. Then one rainy afternoon, fate intervened. Ethan's company was hosting open interviews for junior assistant positions, a program meant to give back to the community. He rarely attended such things, but something pulled him there that day. As he stepped into the hall, his breath caught. There she was. Mia. The same nervous hands, the same brave smile trying to mask uncertainty. She froze when she saw him. "Mr. Cole?" He almost laughed. "You didn't mention you were applying here." "I didn't think I'd see you again," she said quietly. "I need this job. I promise I'll work harder than anyone." Her sincerity struck him like lightning. No pretense. No charm. Just truth. He cleared his throat, slipping back into his CEO tone. "We'll see how the interview goes." But his usual coldness felt forced now. Hours later, he found her waiting outside the building, sitting on the same steps where he once dismissed countless hopefuls. She wasn't checking her phone or complaining, just looking up at the sky, smiling faintly as the clouds broke apart. "Still raining?" he asked, stepping beside her. She turned, surprised. "Not anymore," she said softly. "Sometimes, the rain just stops when you least expect it." Ethan looked at her, really looked, and realized she wasn't just another applicant. She was a reminder. Of kindness. Of humanity. Of something real he'd lost long ago. And in that moment, he knew, his life was about to change again. Mia got the job. Not because Ethan pitted her, but because her determination outshone everyone else's. She arrived early, stayed late, and carried a quiet grace that softened even the most impatient clients. Ethan watched from his glass office as she worked. Unlike others, she didn't chase attention or approval. She simply did good, even when no one was watching. One morning, he caught her placing a cup of coffee on the janitor's cart. "He looked tired," she said when he asked. "Sometimes kindness is the only thing we can afford to give." Those words stayed with him. Slowly, the cold rhythm of Ethan's office began to change. Employees smiled more. The atmosphere lightened. Even the walls, once sterile and silent, seemed warmer when Mia walked in. One evening, as everyone left, Ethan found her at her desk, typing on an old laptop with cracked edges. "You should have gone home hours ago," he said. "I'm just finishing this report," she replied, smiling. "I want to prove you made the right choice." He glanced at her screen, and saw she wasn't working on company files at all. It was a proposal, a charity program to help homeless youth find jobs. "You were doing this, on your own time?" he asked softly. She nodded, nervous. "I didn't mean to overstep. I just thought, we could do more." Ethan felt something stir deep within him. The woman who once couldn't afford a sandwich was now trying to change the world, for others like her. For the first time, he didn't see a poor girl sitting across from him. He saw courage. Hope. Heart. And that night, for reasons he couldn't explain, Ethan Cole, the man who had everything, slept with a rare, peaceful smile. Weeks turned into months, and the once cold CEO was no longer the same man. Ethan laughed more. Listened more. He even approved Mia's charity proposal, funding it entirely from his own pocket. The Cole Foundation for Second Chances became a beacon for struggling youth. But when reporters asked what inspired it, Ethan only smiled and said, "A cup of coffee and a broken umbrella." Mia never realized he meant her. One evening, as the foundation prepared for its first public event, Mia fainted from exhaustion. Ethan rushed to her side, panicked. When she woke in the hospital, she blinked at the worried man beside her bed. "Mr. Cole, you shouldn't be here," she whispered. He shook his head. "It's Ethan now. And I should have been here a long time ago." Tears welled in her eyes. "Why are you being so kind to me?" He smiled softly. "Because you reminded me what kindness looks like." She laughed weakly. "All I did was sit at the wrong table." He reached for her hand. "And in doing so, you helped me find the right path." The silence that followed was warm, full of unspoken gratitude. When Mia returned to work weeks later, she found a small envelope on her desk. Inside was a letter from Ethan. "For the girl who changed everything by mistake. Thank you for teaching me that wealth means nothing without a heart to share it. E." Her eyes glistened as she looked toward his office, where he stood, smiling through the glass. And for the first time, Mia realized, sometimes, fate doesn't bring people together by chance, but by need. Two broken souls had healed each other, one act of kindness at a time.